On the, or widen the horizon of our daily practices or monthly practices or weekly practices, then we are bound, destined to receive these twofold practices. So that this is a wonderful thing that we not now only have a center here, a full-fledged center, appearance-wise, an ordinary house, structure. Essence, this is the real temple. This is the real temple. Why it is the temple? Real temple is entering in, interacting with the people who are connected to this, and participating in the practices. All these lead us to enrich these two qualities, ordinary accomplishments and extraordinary accomplishments, particularly relying in the mother of all the awakened ones, mother of all the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas, the singular mother is Mother Tara. Is Mother Tara. There are so many categories of practices pertaining to Mother Tara's practice. But this Red Tara cycle of the practice revealed by the great treasure revealer Abang Tirthan Rinpoche, whose treasure revealer's name is Ogyen Tenen Lingpa. It is a practice which has a tremendous degree of blessing. The blessing of practice in itself, number one, an unsurpassable blessing. Secondly, there's an incredible, uncontaminated blessing of the lineage because of the nature of the immediacy between the source of this practice is Guru Rinpoche, the Buddha of the secret Mantrayana path, or who is regarded as the second Buddha, who is the quintessence of all the Buddhas of the 10 directions and 3 times. Their enlightened activity aspect of the quality is encompassed into one entity, and that is being manifested in the appearance of Guru Rinpoche. And that's why in Guru Rinpoche encompasses all the sources of refuge. The 3 jewels, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, from the general Buddhist perspective, from secret Mantrayana or Vajradhara perspective, the 3 roots, Lama, deity and Dakini, encompassed in Guru Rinpoche. Why? Because Guru Rinpoche's appearance is Sangha. Guru Rinpoche's speech is Dharma. Guru Rinpoche's awakened state is Buddha. That's why within Guru Rinpoche is encompassed 3 jewels. Within Guru Rinpoche is also encompassed 3 roots. Guru Rinpoche's appearance form is Dakini principle. Guru Rinpoche's enlightened speech is deities. Guru Rinpoche's awakened state of mind is the representation, essence of all the Lamas, from primordial Buddha up to one's own root Lama, they're all encompassed in Guru Rinpoche. So, all the sources of refuge are encompassed in Guru Rinpoche. And as and when we rely and when we gain a total confidence in our own path, when we gain a total confidence in Guru Rinpoche, then eventually we recognize how all the sources of refuge are encompassed in Guru Rinpoche. When we gain a confidence in that state, eventually we come to a point of gaining confidence that beyond one's own self's true nature, one's own true nature, there is no Guru Rinpoche as a separate entity. At that point, the barrier between the samsara and nirvana, almost like the Berlin Wall between the samsara and nirvana, is collapsed, and you are in a vast expanse nature of awakened state. So this is all happening because when we rely in Guru Rinpoche, and it is singularly due to the blessing of Guru Rinpoche that we have all this practice, that what we have is all due to Guru Rinpoche's blessing. And particularly the Vajradhara cycles, we talked of the immediacy between Guru Rinpoche manifested 8 years after historical Buddha Shakyamuni passed away. And then Guru Rinpoche came to Tibet in the 7th century. From 7th century up till now, we are in 21st century, time-wise. And lineage-wise, between Guru Rinpoche and us is the treasure revealer, Ujjain Tinelingpa. The treasure revealer inherited this cycle of the teaching to his immediate disciples, who are also the custodians, primarily His Holiness Ujjain Rinpoche and Mahasiddha Chate Changjuk Dorje. And then our own master, His Eminence Chagdu Rinpoche, received this from Chate Changjuk Dorje. Chate Changjuk Dorje practiced it, gained total confidence. That's why he became a Chatral, means someone who has dismantled the dragnet of being active, being in the active of activities, who is free from activities. Then Rinpoche received it. Rinpoche perfected this practice. Rinpoche himself has on a couple of occasions kind of accepted that Rinpoche gained total realization through relying in the Mother Tara's practice in general, and particularly that of the Vajradhara cycle. That's why later Rinpoche even taught the Dzogpa Chimbo teachings within the perspective of the Vajradhara practice. And then from Rinpoche, then most of the students in the West received. Another lineage is other custodian, the primary custodian, His Holiness Ujjain Rinpoche. His Holiness Ujjain Rinpoche bestowed to a few selected reincarnated lamas, Khenpos, and through them then we received. So basically speaking, between Guru Rinpoche, there is only the treasure revealer, the custodian, Chagdu Rinpoche, and someone between Chödak Rinpoche or His Holiness Dr. Rinpoche. So this is the kind of the immediacy of the lineage. So if you practice, we rely in it, the blessing is assured. The sign of the blessing, if you ever want to know, as we talked day before yesterday, I think, or maybe 2 days earlier that, is a sign of receiving Dharma teaching. Some degree of calmness in the state of the mind. And further improving that state. That is the purpose of receiving teaching. And if it is happening, then you continue it. If it is not happening, there is something wrong. You have to introspect yourself, because you are your own judge. The second is a sign of engaging into the actual practice, practicing, contemplating, meditating. When we see some sign of diminishing, or the dragnet of obscurations are kind of losing its grip on us, that is a sign of our practice. Maintain it. If it is not happening, something is wrong somewhere. So we need to introspect it. That's why historical Buddhas, Atadipo Bhave, be thine light. Similarly, one has to be the witness of one's own self. One has to be one's own judge, Oh yeah, like that. So, that is how we maintain our practice. And now this extensive Tara praises, it is again revealed one of the foremost Dzogpa Chenpo master of the end of the 19th and early 20th century, Khenpo Ngaga Rinpoche, the Vajradhara, Vajradhara, Khenpo Ngaga Rinpoche, who is the root master of His Holiness Chatral Rinpoche. His Holiness Chatral Rinpoche is in his mid-90s. We are talking of a master of 4 generations. We are talking of the master who was the root master of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So we are talking of a master of 4 generations. So His Holiness, when he was younger, in his mid-20s, His Holiness felt that he need to accumulate 100,000 Tara praises in the mountain quietly. The extensive Tara praises is a little bit long, so he approached his teacher. This is what I'm intending. Please, could you reveal a little bit concise one? Upon that interdependence, then his Khenpo Ngaga Rinpoche revealed this. So whenever you gather and do, please recite these Tara praises. And when you are not in the group, also you can, on your own recite these Tara praises. It's an incredible blessing, incredible blessing. Again, please give a rise to bodhicitta and heed to the transmission. Guru Kuleji Jamada Doma Jamana, comes on the one try to the Lama Chödak Gyatso Nubpa, Pamano, Mother Mother, but the Chairman of La Chalo, the Nasavata with the Chanju Senjong, Kanal Haguru Ta, Gyatso, the Larandet, but the Yandalan, getting Tunjima Money. Make Topa Mali, Kuntane, Shenji Dana, Milan and Batting and Zilla to Passenger Mukum to Nama, which is thought to Jawa than the one was sell. Children the Chola is in a new Malay in a moment, so much that Senior Marunda, no good about the Timid and the Dugin, Maluchi and Topazan, Tartubame Gonjo, you show, Chepatia Lamasaji, Jungori, Jesse Pemalendis, the Jetiba, Geo. The third part of choosing reason to shoot link but give a Lama challenge Dogun Pames Adoption Mas Manga Lam Sonam de Danje Sevaye Dana Neve Dana Banje Tigana Jimbalon Sebe Zola Dova Dovara Show Yamiri.